Welcome to another vlog. My name is Laken, and in this vlog I am probably going to be doing a lot of mood reading, which is basically what I do all the time anyways. Today is Monday. I'm actually off this week, Monday and Tuesday. This last weekend I kind of took a break from reading. I didn't really read any at all, and then I tried to read a little bit yesterday, but I just wasn't in the mood. But I woke up today and I am very much in the mood to read, like all of the things. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to read in this vlog, what I'm going to read today. I do want to go to the library and get a couple books there. I have a couple on my mind. I want to look and see if they have, but I'm not for sure. I am just still, I guess, in a cozy mood because that is this time of year for me. So we will see what I end up reading. But I did, for some reason, I had like the urge to pick up this book last night, The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan, which I've read before. It's probably been 4 or 5 years ago I read this. I don't know. I was just all of a sudden like, I'm just gonna grab this and see if I want to read it right now. And I really just read like the, I guess, dedication and a couple pages of the first chapter. Now, it says in the beginning, it's like a message to readers. And basically, it's Jenny Colgan talking to us like about the different places to read. I'm sorry, I don't know if you all can hear that, but the wind outside is crazy loud right now, which is great for me. I just am imagining it's winter and that's like a blizzard outside, but it might be a little loud. I don't know. Anyways, so she's basically just talking about the different places to read, like a hammock when you're traveling, in front of a fire at the hospital, like, and she talks about like each of those places, and I love that part. I remember when I first read this, like I had started reading that and I was like, I'm gonna love this book. And I will say, like, in the first chapter I was starting it, and I really like how I feel like someone is telling me the story the way she's written it. It's like she's sitting down telling us this story, which I really like. But I don't know if I'm going to read this. I am thinking about it, but there's a part of me that's like, do I want to reread a book when there are so many other books that I've not read that I want to read? Or do I just like lean into it and accept that I should just reread this right now because I know I'm going to love it and is the perfect, like, I guess, vibe for right now? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that is a possibility. I am about to go to the library and I'll let you all know when I get there. I'm gonna go do that. I am going to get cozy after that and probably just pretend that it is Christmas and it's cold outside. It's like 70 something degrees today and I'm wearing a cardigan because in my heart it is Christmas. It's quite a bit later now. I've been to the library and now I'm trying to figure out what I want to read. So I'll show you all what I got. I got 4 different books. First one I have is The Library at the Edge of the World. So I really don't know a lot about this. I've seen, I think, a couple of people read it before. All I know is I think the main girl in this has a mobile library that she takes between villages in Ireland. Maybe something has happened with her husband, like they're not together anymore. I think he cheated on her. It's about how she's starting over. Not for sure. Sounds kind of good. I love books that take place in Ireland, so this is a possibility. I also have How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. So I also don't really know much about this, except for I was looking for like books for book lovers because I feel like I'm in that mood to read a book about like a bookshop or library or something. I think there's a new owner to this bookstore and it might follow a few different customers that come to this bookshop a lot and follow them finding love maybe. And then this one's really random. So this is a YA fantasy called The Scorpio Races. I have wanted to read this for a while and I have seen people say it's good to read it in November because it takes place in November. I just don't know if I'm in the mood for a fantasy yet. This one follows some sort of like races with horses, water horses. I think the girl in this is the first girl to be in these races. And then the last book I have is The Secret Book of Flora Lee. And I think this might have came out this year. I'm not for sure. I did not realize until today that the author of this book is also the author of Once Upon a Wardrobe and Becoming Mrs. Lewis, which I've not read either of those books, but I do have one of them. I had no clue. I've been seeing this book different places and I did not make that connection. I think this follows two sisters during World War II, and one of them goes missing, and then it goes into the future, like goes like 20 years into the future, I think, and then maybe she's trying to figure out what happened to her sister, so maybe a little bit of a mystery too. I don't know if I'm in a historical fiction mood, but I haven't read one in a while, so maybe. And also, I feel like this one might be really good because it is a little bit of, it's historical fiction, but it's a little bit of a mystery maybe, and just, it sounds really interesting. On the front, it does say a world war and fairy tale collide, so that sounds really good. Now I'm going to probably read some of all of these and figure out what exactly I want to read. Hopefully I'll be interested in one of these and we'll read that in this vlog. Now I'm definitely not reading them all. So if you've read any of these books, let me know please how you felt about them, because I don't know a lot about any of these. So I need some more information about them, and I need someone to convince me to read one of them. That's what I'm doing now. I have my Christmas ambiance in the background, and I'm going to get cozy now and read some of these books. Last night I ended up reading 1 or 2 chapters of each of those books, and I've decided what I'm going to read, which I'll let you all know about each of the books first. So I read a chapter of The Library at the Edge of the World, and this one I'm probably the least interested in, but that doesn't mean I never want to read it because it seems like it's going to be good. In the first chapter, it was only 7 pages, so I didn't get a whole lot of background of what was going on, but basically the main girl, Hannah, she is divorced from her husband for maybe a few years, now lives with her mother, who is not terrible, but is really bossy and always in her business. So she doesn't really want to live there anymore. And I think she also works at the library. So that is really all that happened in the first chapter. That's all I read of this one. I think I do eventually want to read it, but I'm not going to read it right now. I also read a chapter of How to Find Love in a Bookshop, or maybe I read 2 chapters. I read like the prologue and then half of the first chapter. I was the most interested in this one actually. So far in this one, all that had happened at the beginning in the prologue, there's a man and he had just bought a bookstore and he has a little baby that he's going to take care of. We don't really know what happened to the baby's mom, but he is going to raise this baby. And then the first chapter goes 32 years later. So now we're following, I guess, the baby, who is Amelia, and her dad is on his deathbed at the very beginning of the chapter. So I'm guessing that he passes away and she's gonna now own the bookstore. I really liked this one because I did really want a book that was like for book lovers, and I could already tell in that prologue that her dad was just really loved books, and I feel like different books are going to be mentioned throughout this, which I always love. And I think, I'm not for sure, but it looked like it might be dual timelines, because it looked like in the second chapter it goes back to the 80s. So I'm thinking this might follow her dad also, like whenever he first got the bookstore. This one sounds really good. And then I also read a chapter of The Secret Book of Flora Lee. I'm ready to read a historical fiction. I want to read this one next. The only thing really that happened was it's 1940 and Flora Lee is 6 years old. And I mean, it's only like a page of her kind of playing outside in the woods by herself. And then she might have fallen into the river. And then the second chapter goes to 1960. So I read the second chapter also just to kind of get a feel of both timelines. In that chapter, it followed Hazel, which is Flora's sister, and she's working at rare and collectible bookstore. She happens to find a rare fairy tale book, and as she's opening it, she sees these illustrations that are reminding her of her sister. The title of the book, she finds out, is what they used to call the place that they went to in the 40s before Flora Lee disappeared. She's thinking this has to be her sister who wrote this book because they're the only ones that knew about this place. I'm really intrigued by this one, so I feel like I want to read this really soon. I didn't read any of the Scorpio races because I was thinking, I'm not in the mood for a YA fantasy. My thoughts last night were I'm gonna read How to Find Love in a Bookshop, and then I woke up this morning and randomly had the urge to pick up A River Enchanted. Now this is my book. I didn't get this from the library. Funny thing about this book, I have tried to read it twice before, and both times I didn't really mean to DNF it, I guess. I just kind of put it down and didn't pick it back up. This is by Rebecca Ross, who also wrote Divine Rivals. I love that duology. I think I bought this even before I read Divine Rival because this series that she wrote came out before that. Now this is an adult fantasy series, so when I picked this up after I read Divine Rivals, I didn't know if I could get into it because it's really different from that series, because again, this is adult, the other one is YA, and it really feels like two different people wrote these books, honestly. This one is a lot slower paced. Now, if that doesn't bother you, I feel like you would really enjoy this. This is a really all over the place way to tell you. I decided to read this one because, like I said, I've tried to read it 2 other times, and I remember like the feeling I got when I was reading it. It's very atmospheric and feels like winter, I guess, and I just wanted that feeling right now, so I picked it up. Now again, I've read like the first 6 chapters twice, I think. I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to start back at the beginning again, even though it's been a while, so I kind of skimmed or speed read the first couple chapters, and then by the time I got to the 3rd chapter, I just read it normally. I'm now on chapter 4, 64 pages in, so I'm really happy I'm deciding to read this because I think I'm really going to enjoy it now that I know that it's going to be really slow paced and it's not going to be like Divine Rivals. In this book, it is a fantasy, but it kind of makes you think of like Scotland. It feels like a historical fiction set in Scotland, honestly, but there is some sort of magic in it. So this follows Jack, and at the beginning of the book, he lives somewhere else now. He has been going to school at this place to learn to be a bard, like play the harp, and now he's a teaching assistant there, but he's been gone for like 10 years, I think, from where he's from. And he gets this letter that is from the leader of his clan that is asking him to come back home, and he's like, I can't not go home if he's summoning me back. So he goes back and he finds out that these girls are disappearing. So there's 2 girls so far that have disappeared, and the magic system in this, I'm still kind of learning what is going on exactly. It's like they're spirits, but they're like maybe like fairies or fairy spirits that are kind of in the wind and the waves and everything. So I guess in nature, and people are thinking that these spirits or these fairies are taking these girls away. And that's all I want to say so far because I don't want to give too much away. I feel like this is a good one maybe to figure out on your own, like when you're reading it. I feel like I'm still trying to learn, like I said, the fantasy part of it, what's going on. It also seems like the people here each have like a specific craft is what it's called, like that they're really good at, and it might also be kind of magical, or some of them are. The atmosphere in this book is like perfect. The writing in this book also is really good, but again, it is one that it's like you're just gonna sit with and cozy up with and not try to get through quickly. But that's all I want to say about it so far. Again, I haven't read that much of it, but I am really happy to read this now. It's taken me forever because I've had this book for years, but I feel like now is the time to read it. I'm gonna go read a little bit more of this, and I will update you all soon on it and how I'm feeling. Days later now, and it's the weekend, so I wanted to let you all know how much I've read of A River Enchanted. I am on part 2 now, and this book is amazing. Like, this is gonna be, I feel like, a new favorite series for me. I'm just in love with it. Like, I'm almost halfway through, and this is the type of fantasy book, or honestly just the type of book in general that like you are fully in it. Even though I think I've already said it's kind of slower paced, it's the perfect slow pace to me. I'm really glad I gave this another chance. Like I've said before, I have tried to read this 2 other times. This is my 3rd time trying to read this, and it was the perfect time to read it now because it's just exactly what I'm wanting. I don't want to tell too much about what's going on because I don't want to give too much away. I feel like it's good to just kind of not go in blind completely, but just learn what's going on your own as you're reading it. I'm really enjoying just the whole plot of it because it's very different. Like I said before, it seems like not everybody has like a skill that they're gifted in, but if they do have like a trade, I guess, that they're really gifted in, then it might use some magic. And if they do that skill every time, like it kind of basically makes them sick, kind of drains them of energy, and they're probably going to be sick for a lot of their life because it just takes so much out of them. Jack is I guess the main male character in this. His mom is really gifted with making enchanted plaids that they wear, and these plaids like have the ability, I guess, to protect them. I don't know exactly, but she's been doing this for a long period of time, and she's basically just sick all the time, and he's worried about her because he doesn't want her to do it anymore because it takes so much out of her. But Jack is gifted in music, so that is basically like, I guess, his special ability. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but the atmosphere of this book is also just what makes it. Like, it's so atmospheric. It's just so different. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like Divine Rivals. The writing is so different, and I think that's what like deterred me before, because I was going into it expecting it to feel like Divine Rivals, and it doesn't at all. But it's so special, like on its own. I'm just in love with it, if you can't tell. I wish I could make you read this because it's just the perfect time to read it too, because it's so cozy and feels like winter, honestly. Anyways, I'm loving this, and that's all the update I have on that. I am about to go to Starbucks because the holiday drinks are out now, and I love their peppermint mochas, so I'm gonna go get one of those and get really cozy with this book, put on like a Christmas ambiance. I'm also thinking about later watching a movie. It's called An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. I just thought of it randomly the other day because I used to watch it when I was younger. I'm pretty sure it's honestly a Hallmark movie, like an older one, but I also think it's based on a book that Louisa May Alcott wrote. I think she wrote An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. I don't know. I'm not sure. Somebody did, I think. I think it's based on a book. And then there's also An Old-Fashioned Christmas. So I really like both those movies. It's been many years since I've watched them, so we will see if I still like it. I'm thinking about watching that later because I think it's like the perfect time of year to watch that, and it's gonna be really cozy. I'm just trying to have like a halfway Christmassy day, even though we have no like Christmas decorations up yet. We are gonna put them up next weekend, so I'm excited about that. The weather outside is also getting colder, so I'm just in that mood, in the Christmas spirit, so I'm just really happy. I'm gonna go and get a peppermint mocha and read some more of this book. Exciting day because we are going to put up our Christmas decorations today, and I'm so excited. It is November 16th, so I know that's a little bit early for some people, and some people have had it up since like Halloween. So I'm kind of in the middle, I guess. I've been wanting to put them up for a couple of weeks now, and now we're finally doing it. So I'm really excited about that today. I just want to have a Christmassy day today, putting up Christmas decorations, maybe watching a Christmas movie, or at least having one on while we're putting the things up. I thought about making cookies, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. I found Kristen Johns posted a gingerbread cookie recipe that looks amazing, but I don't know that I have the time today to make those because I think they're going to be a little bit more work than I have time for today. So I might wait and do those like in another vlog that I'm maybe reading Christmas books. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that today. Also, I did try the new holiday refresher at Starbucks, the cranberry orange lemonade refresher, and it is so good. You might know my favorite drink from Starbucks is the strawberry acai lemonade because that's what I get all the time, and I could drink that almost every day. I feel like the cranberry orange now is really close to that. I don't know that it surpassed it for me, but it's it's really close. It's so good. If you like cranberry flavored things, then I think that you would really like it. And I did see someone say if you like not Sour Patch Kids, Sweet Tarts, you might like it also, which I could see that because it is a little bit sour, but it's really good. I didn't film myself trying it because I got it on my way to work the other day and it was very dark, so you wouldn't have been able to see anything. But yes, I highly recommend that drink. Now, a reading update, because I haven't talked to you all in a little while about what I've been reading. I did start Mere Christianity, which I read this so many years ago. I think this was actually the first C.S. Lewis book I ever read besides Chronicles of Narnia, because I read that when I was a kid. This is his first nonfiction book that I read, and I fell in love with it and fell in love with him. I just think he's a genius. I just randomly had the urge to read this again. So I've read 4 chapters and I'm already obsessed with it again. It's been so long since I've read it that I've basically forgotten a whole lot about it, but I just think he is so smart, but it's not so smart where it goes way over my head. He makes things make sense. He makes connections to things like it's almost like sometimes you're reading it and it's like, I don't see how this is gonna make sense or this is gonna connect. And then he does it and you're like, whoa, it's just shocking. He's my favorite nonfiction author and I just love him so much. If you've read any other books by him that are nonfiction, let me know which one's your favorite. Or if this one's your favorite, like if you have another one that you really like, because I have read the Screwtape Letters, which I guess is not nonfiction, but it's in that same vein, I guess, because even though it's fiction, it's really relatable to like things that Christians go through. So I love the Screwtape Letters and it really encouraged me also. But I have the 4 Loves and I've read half of it like a long time ago. I think that's all I've read of him though. I have read a good amount more of A River Enchanted now. I am on page 310 and I think, okay, so I just got to part 3 of the book. This book is so good. Like, I cannot say enough good things about it. I feel like I've already said a lot of what I really like about it. The atmosphere, her writing is so good and beautiful, and it just really sucks you in. I don't even really think about it being slow paced now because I'm just so into the story that I'm eating it up. When I'm not reading it, I keep imagining like when I can sit down and really read it because it's just so good. The characters, the plot is really interesting. We're finding out more about like what's happening to these girls, and more girls are going missing. I don't even know if I want to say this. It's not a romance book at all. There's like the teeniest little romance in it. And I don't know, maybe in the other books it's gonna be more of a thing, but I guess it would be like a really slow burn romance in this, but I'm loving it. Like, it's so, so good. One of my favorite romance tropes has just happened in this, and it's just perfect. And I don't want to tell you all which one it is if you haven't read it because I don't want to give anything away. I had seen that was in this book and I almost wish that I hadn't known because I would have liked to have been surprised by it. I feel like I can get a good amount read of it today. I'm so excited that this is a series. I think it's only 3 books. It's just such a different fantasy series than I've ever read before because it feels like a mix of historical fiction, fantasy, fairy tale. Like, it has so much in it. Rebecca Ross is just amazing and I love her, and she's definitely becoming a favorite author for me now. That is the plan for today. We might go to Hobby Lobby because of all of their Christmas stuff that they have out right now. I don't know if we'll buy much because we did get a lot of things last year, and I mean, we have enough stuff, but I'm always wanting to add a little bit more for the Christmas decorations. So we'll see if we end up getting anything there. I don't know what else we're going to be doing today. It's just going to be a cozy Christmassy day. So it's funny because I said that yesterday we were going to put up the tree, and we went and ran multiple errands and then came home and did a lot of different chores, and then by the time we were done it was like 8 o'clock and we were just then eating dinner, and then we were just like, let's just wait until tomorrow. So now it is tomorrow and we're gonna put up the tree today. We are about to do it. I went and got my cranberry orange lemonade, and I figured out I like it without the cranberry pieces in it because they just put so much in there, and every drink that I get like a cranberry, and I don't love that. So I got it without the cranberry pieces, and I like it so much better. But I got that, and then I got some cookies that I'm gonna make, just easy cookies for us tonight, and I'm really excited. We're about to put it up and get everything together, so we're gonna go do that now. Really looking forward to tonight, like having everything up and then just getting really cozy with my book and seeing all the Christmas decorations. It's just gonna be the best.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging. Not only
Coming back to wrap up this vlog. If I'm being honest, this is like 2 weeks later. But I was editing this video and realized I never like ended it. We did finish decorating for Christmas. I feel like there are a couple things that I still want to get maybe, but if not, I'm happy with how it all turned out. We finished that. Our star that we got last year, it was supposed to light up and it was already like dead. That lasted a year. So we just went to Walmart and got a new one, and I actually kind of like this one better. But I did finish A River Enchanted a couple weeks ago, and I was not expecting it to end the way it did, but I felt like it was so good. But it definitely left off to where I have to read the next one because a lot of things happened, and a lot of things I was not expecting, and some sad things. But yeah, I am happy that it's just a duology because it's a little bit less intimidating to know that I just have one more book to read and I'm finished with it. It was so good. 5 stars. Like, I've already said basically everything I wanted to say about the book. I would just be repeating myself, but it was amazing. Her writing was amazing, and it was just such a perfect, like, atmospheric time reading it. I think everybody should definitely try it. Even if you didn't like Divine Rivals, if you're not into YA, then this adult fantasy book, I feel like, would be a better choice for you. That's basically all I had to say. We're now actually into December, so I've been doing some Christmassy things, and hopefully we'll have another vlog up soon where I'm doing more Christmas related things and reading some Christmas books. If you made it this far into the video, I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm really thankful for every single one of you that watches my videos. I'd love to hear what you're reading right now, if you're reading any Christmas books or just anything. I'd love to talk with you about that. So let me know what you're reading, and again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.